Welcome to A Monastery of the Mind. This audiobook is a simple and direct guide designed to help you discover the profound peace and unwavering strength that already exists within you. We are not traveling to a faraway mountain or seeking entry into a stone building. Instead, we will learn step by step how to construct a sanctuary inside our own minds. This inner monastery will be a place of quiet refuge and immense power, a sanctuary that you can access anywhere, at any time, no matter what is happening in the world around you. This journey requires no special equipment, only your willingness to turn your attention inward. Let us begin this beautiful and transformative work together. Before we begin, I invite you to pause for a moment. What is one single thought that often repeats itself in your mind? It could be a worry, a dream, or just a random phrase. There is no right or wrong answer. Please share it in the comments below if you feel comfortable. Your simple act of noticing is the first step on this journey. Chapter 1. The Architect of Your Inner World. Welcome to the first chapter of our journey. In this section, we will explore the most fundamental and powerful truth of our human experience, that you are the architect of your own inner world. Think about that for a moment. You are not merely a resident of your mind, subject to its changing moods and storms. You are the one who holds the blueprints. You are the one who can, with conscious effort and gentle persistence, shape the very structure of your inner reality. This is not a metaphor. It is a practical and achievable skill that we will begin to learn right now. Our purpose in this chapter is to understand the materials we are working with. The primary material, of course, is the mind itself. We will look at the nature of our thoughts, the incredible, science-backed ability of our brain to change and adapt, and the two fundamental voices that speak within us, the voice of the ego and the voice of the quiet observer. Finally, we will learn how to draw the master plan for our inner monastery through the profound power of intention. This is the foundational work. Everything that follows, all the peace and strength we seek to cultivate, begins here, with this simple and empowering understanding. It begins with the realization that the key to your sanctuary is, and always has been, in your own hands. You have the power to create a mind that is not a prison of anxiety and fear, but a beautiful sacred space of peace, clarity, and compassion. Let us begin by considering the sheer scale of our mental activity. Scientists estimate that the average person has somewhere between 50,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day. Imagine that. 70,000 individual thoughts flashing through your awareness from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. That is nearly one thought for every second that you are awake. This is an immense, ceaseless river of mental energy. What are these thoughts? They are a mixture of everything imaginable. There are memories from childhood, worries about the future, plans for dinner, fragments of songs, judgments about ourselves and others, daydreams, questions, and countless other pieces of mental content. For most of us, this river of thoughts flows completely on its own. We are like someone standing on the bank, watching this torrent rush by, often getting swept away by its currents without even realizing it. We believe we are our thoughts. If a fearful thought appears, we feel fear. If an angry thought appears, we feel anger. We have become so identified with this stream that we have forgotten that we are the one standing on the bank, the one who is aware of the stream itself. This is the first and most crucial step in becoming the architect of your mind, to recognize that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are events that happen within you. They are like the weather. Some days your mind is sunny and clear. Other days it is cloudy, stormy, and turbulent. You would never say, "I am the storm." You would say, "I am experiencing a storm." We must learn to apply this same wisdom to our inner world. You are not your anxiety. You are the one who is aware of the feeling of anxiety. You are not your sadness. You are the one who notices the presence of sadness. This small shift in perspective is the beginning of all freedom. It creates a space between you the silent observer, and the thoughts and feelings that arise. In this space lies your power. In this space, you can choose not to be swept away by the river. You can choose to simply watch the thoughts float by like leaves on the water. Some leaves are beautiful, some are ugly. It does not matter. You do not have to grab onto any of them. You can just let them pass. This is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. At first, it may feel impossible. The river is so strong, and the habit of being swept away is so deeply ingrained. But with each moment you remember to just watch, to just be the aware presence, you are building a new mental muscle. You are beginning to claim your rightful place as the master of your inner home, not its prisoner. The constant stream of thoughts is not a personal failure. It is simply the nature of the mind. The mind thinks, just as the heart beats. Our work is not to stop the mind from thinking, which is an impossible and frustrating task. Our work is to change our relationship with our thoughts, to see them for what they are, temporary, fleeting events in our consciousness, not the definition of who we are. Remember this truth as we move forward. A thought is just a visitor. You are the house. You can decide whether to serve it tea and let it stay, or to simply nod as it passes through. You have that choice in every single moment. Now let us turn to one of the most exciting and empowering discoveries in modern neuroscience, a concept that provides a scientific basis for the spiritual wisdom we are exploring. This concept is called neuroplasticity. The word may sound complex, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple and profound. For a very long time, scientists believed that the adult brain was largely fixed. They thought that by the time we reached a certain age, the brain's structure was set in stone, and we were essentially stuck with the mental and emotional patterns we had developed. But over the past few decades, research has shown this to be completely untrue. Neuroplasticity is the discovery that the brain has a remarkable ability to change and reorganize itself throughout our entire lives. It can form new neural connections and pathways in response to our experiences, our behaviors, and most importantly, our thoughts. Think about what this means. It means that you are not stuck. The patterns of worry, self-criticism, or anger that you may think are just part of who you are not permanent fixtures. They are simply well-worn paths in your brain. Imagine your brain is like a vast, dense forest. When you have a particular thought or feeling, it is like walking down a path in that forest. The first time you walk it, you have to push through branches and clear the way. It is difficult, but if you walk that same path every single day, what happens? A clear trail begins to form. The grass gets trampled down. The branches are pushed aside. After weeks and months of walking this path, it becomes a wide, easy road. It becomes your default route. This is how habits of thought are formed. If you have spent years worrying about money, you have carved a very deep worry about money path in your brain. The neural connections associated with that thought pattern have become strong and efficient. As soon as a trigger appears, your brain automatically, without conscious effort, zips down that familiar path. But here is the magic of neuroplasticity. You can choose to walk a new path. At first, this new path will feel difficult. Let's say you want to create a path of gratitude instead of worry. The first time you consciously choose to think a grateful thought, it's like taking that first step into the thick, untouched part of the forest. You have to push through the resistance of the old habit. It feels unnatural. But if you do it again the next day, and the day after that, you start to clear a new trail. Meanwhile, the old, well-worn path of worry, because you are no longer walking it, slowly begins to grow over. The grass returns. The branches creep back in. Over time, with consistent practice, your new path of gratitude becomes the wide, easy, automatic route. The old path of worry becomes overgrown and difficult to find. This is not just a hopeful metaphor. This is the physical reality of what is happening inside your skull. Every time you consciously redirect your attention away from a negative thought and toward a positive one, you are physically rewiring your brain. You are acting as the gardener of your mind. You are choosing which seeds to water and which weeds to pull. The spiritual teacher who tells you to guard your thoughts, and the neuroscientist who tells you that neurons that fire together, wire together, are describing the exact same process from two different perspectives. This knowledge is your superpower. It liberates you from the prison of your past and your habits. It means that change is always possible. You can learn to be more peaceful. You can learn to be more compassionate. You can learn to be more resilient. It is not a matter of wishing for it. It is a matter of practice. It is the practice of consciously and repeatedly choosing the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that align with the person you want to become. You are literally building a new brain. You are building the neural architecture of your inner monastery. So let go of the idea that this is just the way I am. That is a story based on old science and old beliefs. The truth is, you are a work in progress. Your mind is a living, malleable, dynamic creation, and you are its creator. Every single moment is an opportunity to lay down a new brick, to carve a new path, to build a more beautiful and peaceful home for yourself. Embrace this power. It is your birthright. Within this dynamic, ever-changing mind, we can observe two distinct voices or modes of being. Understanding these two voices is like learning the difference between the noise of the city and the silence of the countryside. Both exist, but peace is only found in one. We will call these two voices the ego and the observer. Let's first talk about the ego. The word ego has many definitions, but for our purposes, we will define it in a very simple way. The ego is the voice in your head that never stops talking. It is the narrator of your life story. It is the source of that constant stream of judgments, opinions, complaints, and worries. The ego is obsessed with the past and the future. It constantly replays old grievances and rehearses future anxieties. It is the voice that tells you, you should have said that differently, or, what if you fail? The ego is what creates your sense of a separate self, an I that is defined by its possessions, its job title, its accomplishments, its failures, and its relationships. It lives in a state of comparison, constantly measuring itself against others. Is he more successful than me? Is she prettier than me? Do they have a better house? This comparison is a recipe for constant dissatisfaction. The ego is also deeply identified with problems. It loves to have something to worry about, something to complain about, something to resist. Without problems, the ego feels like it has no job. It thrives on drama and conflict. It is the part of you that holds on to grudges, that feels slighted, that needs to be right. It is the voice of fear, of lack, and of separation. Now, this may sound very negative, but it is crucial to understand that the ego is not your enemy. It is not some evil entity you must destroy. The ego is a survival mechanism that has been developed over millions of years of evolution. Its job is to keep you safe, to anticipate threats, and to maintain your position in the social hierarchy. It is a tool. The problem is not the tool itself, but our relationship with it. We have become so identified with the voice of the ego that we believe it is who we are. We have mistaken the chattering narrator for our true self. We have put the court jester on the throne and forgotten about the king. This brings us to the second voice, the observer. The observer is your true self. It is the silent, still, aware presence that lies behind the chatter of the ego. It is the part of you that notices your thoughts. When the ego is worrying about a future event, the observer is the part of you that says, there is the thought of worry. The observer does not judge the thought. It does not get caught up in the story. It simply notices its presence with a calm, detached awareness. The observer lives only in the present moment. It is not concerned with the past or the future because it knows that the only reality is now. The observer is the vast, blue sky. The thoughts, feelings, and sensations are the clouds that drift through the sky. The clouds come and go. They change form. Some are light and fluffy. Some are dark and menacing. But no matter what the clouds are doing, the sky remains unchanged. The sky is always there, always vast, always peaceful. You are the sky, not the clouds. The spiritual journey, in many ways, is simply the process of shifting your identification from the ego to the observer. It is the journey of remembering that you are the sky, not the clouds. How do we do this? We do it by practicing awareness. We do it by repeatedly, gently, and patiently bringing our attention back to the present moment. Every time you catch yourself lost in the ego's stories of past and future, and you gently guide your attention back to the feeling of your breath, you are strengthening your connection to the observer. Every time you notice a judgmental thought arise and you simply watch it without believing it, you are disempowering the ego and empowering your true self. Imagine you are sitting in a grand hall. The ego is a frantic messenger who keeps running in, shouting about all the terrible things that have happened and all the horrible things that might happen. For most of our lives, we listen to this messenger as if he is speaking the absolute truth. We panic when he panics. We rage when he rages. The practice we are learning is to simply remain seated on our throne of awareness. The messenger can run in and shout all he wants. We listen, we nod, but we do not have to believe him. We do not have to leave our throne. We can remain centered in the calm, quiet wisdom of the observer. This is where your peace lies. The ego will always find something to be upset about. That is its nature, but you do not have to go along for the ride. You can choose to rest in the silent, spacious awareness that is your true home. Your true identity is not your name, your job, or your story. Your true identity is the consciousness that is aware of all those things. You are the silent watcher. This is the source of your unshakable peace. Now that we understand the nature of our thoughts, the potential of our brain to change, and the two voices within us, it is time to draw the plans for our inner monastery. A builder would never begin construction without a blueprint. The blueprint gives direction, purpose, and form to the entire project. In our inner work, this blueprint is called intention. Intention is more than just a goal or a wish. A goal is a destination in the future, like, I want to be less stressed next year. A wish is a passive hope. An intention is a powerful, focused declaration of how you choose to live in this present moment. It is a guiding force that you infuse into your thoughts and actions right now. It is the conscious choice to align your energy with the qualities you wish to cultivate. Setting a clear intention is like programming a GPS for your mind. With a destination entered, the GPS can calculate the best route. Without a destination, you are just driving aimlessly. Similarly, when you set a clear intention, you give your brain, with its amazing capacity for neuroplasticity, a clear direction. You are telling your mind, this is what we are building. This is the quality we are watering. So, what kind of inner monastery do you want to create? What qualities do you want it to embody? Your intention could be simple and broad. For example, my intention is to cultivate inner peace. Or it could be more specific. My intention is to respond to challenges with patience and understanding. Or perhaps, my intention is to live each moment with a grateful heart. The power of intention lies in its ability to focus your attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If your intention is to cultivate peace, you will start to notice opportunities to be peaceful. When someone cuts you off in traffic, your intention will act as a gentle reminder. Instead of automatically reacting with anger, following the old, well-worn neural path, your intention creates a small pause. In that pause, you have a choice. You can choose to take a deep breath and let it go, thereby walking the new path of peace. Without the intention, there is no pause. There is only the automatic, unconscious reaction. The intention is the lighthouse that guides your ship through the fog of old habits. Let's engage in a simple but powerful exercise right now. Take a moment to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Ask yourself this question. What quality do I most want to nurture in my life right now? Do not overthink it. Just listen for the first answer that arises from the quiet place within you. Perhaps the word is calm. Perhaps it is strength. Perhaps it is love, clarity, forgiveness, or joy. Whatever the word is, let it rest in your awareness. Feel the energy of that word. Now craft a simple intention statement around it. For example, if your word is calm, your intention could be, "My intention is to move through my day with a calm mind and a peaceful heart." Say this intention to yourself silently 3 times. Feel it resonate within you. This is your blueprint. This is the guiding principle for your inner architect. You can write this intention down and place it somewhere you will see it throughout the day, perhaps on your bathroom mirror or on your desk. Each time you see it, it serves as a gentle reminder to bring you back to your chosen path. Remember, an intention is not a tool for self-judgment. If you set an intention to be patient and then you lose your temper, it does not mean you have failed. The ego will love to jump in and say, "See, you can't do it. You are not a patient person." Do not listen to that voice. The moment you realize you have strayed from your intention is a moment of victory. Why? Because you have become aware. Awareness is the key. In that moment of awareness, you can simply and gently say, I see I have strayed from my path of patience. Let me now return to it." And then you take a breath and begin again. Each time you do this, you are rewiring your brain. You are strengthening the path of your intention. Your intention is the seed. Your attention is the water. Your repetition is the sunlight. With these 3 elements, you can grow a beautiful garden in your mind. You can build a sanctuary of peace, strength, and wisdom that will serve you for your entire life. This is the power you hold. You are the architect. Now, with your intention as your guide, you are ready to begin laying the foundation stones. Chapter 2. Laying the foundation stones. In our first chapter, we embraced our role as the architect of our inner world. We drew the blueprints, understanding that our minds are not fixed, but are wonderfully capable of change. We learned to distinguish between the constant chatter of the ego and the silent wisdom of the observer. And we set a powerful guiding intention, our North Star for the construction of our inner monastery. Now, the time has come to move from planning to practice. An architect's beautiful design is nothing but a piece of paper until the builders arrive and begin to lay the foundation. A strong, deep, and stable foundation is essential for any structure that is meant to last, and our inner sanctuary is no exception. This chapter is all about the practical, tangible work of laying those foundation stones. These are the core practices, the simple yet profound tools that will create a bedrock of stillness and stability within you. These are not complex rituals or esoteric secrets. They are simple, accessible techniques that have been practiced for thousands of years and are now being validated by modern science for their incredible benefits. We will begin with the most fundamental and readily available tool we all possess, our breath. We will learn how this simple, life-sustaining rhythm can become a powerful anchor for our minds. From there, we will demystify the practice of meditation, stripping away the misconceptions and showing it for what it truly is, the simple art of being present. We will explore the crucial skill of non-attachment, learning how to watch our thoughts and feelings without being controlled by them. And finally, we will discover the healing and grounding power of connecting with the natural world. These 4 practices, conscious breathing, meditation, non-attachment, and connection with nature, are the 4 cornerstones of our monastery of the mind. They are the solid ground upon which all further inner work will be built. This is where the real transformation begins. So take a deep breath and let us begin to build. Let us begin with the most humble, most overlooked, yet most powerful tool you will ever possess for creating inner peace: your own breath. From the moment you are born until the moment you die, your breath is your constant companion. It is the steady rhythm of life itself, operating tirelessly in the background. Most of the time, we pay it no attention at all. It just happens. But when we learn to pay attention to our breath, when we move it from the unconscious background to the conscious foreground, it transforms from a simple biological function into a profound tool for mastering our minds and calming our bodies. Why is the breath so powerful? First, it is always with you. You cannot forget to bring it somewhere. In any moment of stress, anxiety, or overwhelm, no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can always return your attention to your breath. It is a portable sanctuary. Second, the breath is the bridge between your conscious and unconscious mind. It is one of the few bodily systems that works automatically, but can also be consciously controlled. You do not have to think to breathe, but you can choose to change the pace and depth of your breathing at any time. This gives you a direct lever to influence your physical and psychological state. Let's look at the simple science behind this. Your body has a part of its nervous system called the autonomic nervous system, which controls things like your heart rate, digestion, and breathing. This system has two main branches. The first is the sympathetic nervous system, often called the fight or flight response. This is your stress response. When you perceive a threat, whether it is a real physical danger or a stressful email from your boss, this system kicks in. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid, and stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline flood your body. The second branch is the parasympathetic nervous system, known as the rest and digest response. This system promotes calm and relaxation. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your body can focus on healing and restoration. The amazing thing is that you can consciously switch from the fight or flight state to the rest and digest state simply by changing the way you breathe. When you take slow, deep, deliberate breaths, especially ones where the exhalation is longer than the inhalation, you send a powerful signal directly to your brain via a large nerve called the vagus nerve. This signal essentially tells your brain, everything is okay. The threat has passed. You can stand down. In a matter of minutes or even seconds, you can reverse the physiological stress response. This is not positive thinking. This is a direct biological intervention. Imagine your mind is like a wild horse, galloping off with anxious thoughts and worries. Trying to stop the horse by sheer willpower is exhausting and often impossible. But the breath is like a gentle rein. By focusing on your breath, you are not fighting the horse. You are simply, gently, taking hold of the rein and guiding it to a slow, steady walk. The thoughts may still be there, but they lose their frantic energy. You are anchored. Let's practice a very simple but incredibly effective breathing technique right now. We will call it abdominal breathing or belly breathing. You can do this sitting in a chair, lying down, or even standing up. Place one hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly, just below your rib cage. Take a normal breath and notice which hand moves more. For many people, especially when they are stressed, it is the hand on their chest. We tend to breathe in a very shallow way. Our goal here is to breathe deeply into our diaphragm. Now, gently close your eyes if you can. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for a count of 4. As you breathe in, focus on letting your belly expand like a balloon. The hand on your belly should rise, while the hand on your chest remains relatively still. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, hold that breath for just a moment. Then, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth or nose for a count of 6. As you exhale, feel your belly gently fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that again. Breathe in through your nose, expanding your belly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, and breathe out slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let all the air out. Do this one more time at your own pace. Just focus on the feeling of your belly rising and falling. This simple act of making your exhalation longer than your inhalation is one of the quickest ways to activate your rest and digest system. You can use this tool anytime, anywhere, before a difficult conversation, when you are stuck in traffic, when you wake up in the middle of the night with a racing mind. 3 of these deep, conscious breaths can completely change your state of being. It is the first and most important foundation stone of your inner monastery. It is your anchor in the storm. Practice it often. Make it your friend. It is the simplest and most profound act of self-care you can perform. Another incredibly powerful breathing technique, used by everyone from elite soldiers and first responders to yoga masters, is known as box breathing. It gets its name from its simple 4-sided structure. It is a fantastic tool for calming the mind and body when you are feeling particularly scattered or overwhelmed. The structure helps to focus the mind, giving it a simple task to follow, which interrupts the cycle of anxious thoughts. The practice is very straightforward. It involves 4 steps, each lasting for the same amount of time, typically a count of 4. You inhale for 4, hold your breath for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold the breath out for 4. This completes 1 box. Let's walk through it together slowly. First, find a comfortable position, either sitting upright or lying down. Gently close your eyes. Let's begin by exhaling all the air from your lungs completely. Just let it all go. Now, for the first side of the box, slowly inhale through your nose to a silent count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the air fill your lungs. For the second side, gently hold your breath for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try not to tense up. Just hold the breath in a relaxed way. For the third side of the box, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth or nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Imagine the tension leaving your body with the breath. And for the final side, hold your breath out with your lungs empty for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 1 complete cycle of box breathing. Now let's do a few more rounds together. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Continue on your own for a few more cycles. Focus all your attention on the counting and the sensation of the breath. If your mind wanders, and it will, just gently guide it back to the count. The count is your anchor. This technique is so effective because it directly influences your nervous system, balancing it out. The holding of the breath helps to reset your body's carbon dioxide levels, which can have a significant calming effect. Just 5 minutes of box breathing can lower your heart rate, decrease stress, and bring a profound sense of clarity and focus to your mind. Think of it as a reset button. When your mental computer has too many tabs open and is running slow, box breathing is how you shut down the unnecessary programs and restore your system to its calm, efficient state. You can use this as a daily practice to build your resilience to stress, or as an emergency tool when you feel panic or anxiety rising. It is another essential foundation stone, solid, reliable, and always available to you. With our breath as our anchor, we are now ready to approach the second great cornerstone of our inner monastery, meditation. For many people, the word meditation can be intimidating. It might conjure up images of monks sitting in silent agony for hours, or it might bring up feelings of personal failure, like, I tried it, but I can't stop my thoughts, so I'm bad at it. Let us begin by clearing away these misconceptions. This is the most important thing you will ever hear about meditation. The goal of meditation is not to stop your thoughts. Trying to stop your thoughts is like trying to stop the waves in the ocean. It is a futile and frustrating battle. The goal of meditation is simply to become aware of your thoughts without getting lost in them. It is to change your relationship with your thoughts. It is the practice of sitting on the shore and watching the waves, rather than being tossed around by them. If you sit to meditate for 10 minutes, and your mind wanders 100 times, and you gently bring it back to your anchor 100 times, you have not had a bad meditation. You have had a perfect meditation. The act of noticing that your mind has wandered and gently, without judgment, bringing it back. That is the practice. That is the mental push-up. Every time you do it, You are strengthening the muscle of awareness. You are weakening the habit of unconscious distraction. So, how do we begin? Let's start with a very simple and accessible meditation practice focused on the breath. Find a comfortable place to sit. You can be in a chair with your feet flat on the floor or on a cushion on the ground. The most important thing is that your spine is relatively straight, so you can be alert and relaxed at the same time. You can gently close your eyes, or if you prefer, you can rest your gaze softly on a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you. Now, begin by bringing your attention to the feeling of your breath. You do not need to change it or control it in any way. Just notice it. Notice the sensation of the air entering your nostrils. It might be cool as it comes in. Notice the sensation of the air leaving your nostrils. It might be slightly warmer as it goes out. Or you can choose to place your attention on the rising and falling of your belly or chest. Choose one spot and just rest your full attention there. Your only job for the next few minutes is to feel the sensation of one single breath, from the beginning, through the middle, to the end, and then the next one. Inevitably, your mind will wander. You will start thinking about your to-do list, or a conversation you had yesterday, or what you want for lunch. This is not a mistake. This is just what minds do. The moment you notice that your mind has wandered is a moment of beautiful awareness. In that moment, without any criticism or judgment, just gently acknowledge where your mind went. You might silently say to yourself, thinking, or planning. And then, like guiding a lost puppy back home, you gently return your attention to the feeling of your breath. That's it. That is the entire practice. You watch the breath. You get lost in thought. You notice you are lost. You gently come back to the breath, over and over again. Let's try another simple form of meditation. A body scan. This is particularly helpful when you are feeling disconnected from your body or stuck in your head. Lie down on your back in a comfortable position, with your arms resting by your sides. Gently close your eyes. Begin by bringing your awareness to your toes on your left foot. Just feel the sensations there. You might feel tingling, warmth, coolness, or nothing at all. There is no right or wrong way to feel. You are just noticing. After a minute, move your attention to the sole of your left foot, then to your heel, then to the top of your foot. Slowly, patiently, move your awareness up your entire body. Your left leg, then your right leg, your hips, your belly, your back, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your scalp. You are simply shining the gentle light of your awareness on each part of your body, one by one, without judgment. This practice grounds you in the present moment and in the reality of your physical self. It is a deeply calming and restorative practice. The key to meditation is consistency, not duration. 5 minutes of focused practice every day is far more powerful than 1 hour of frustrated practice once a week. You are carving a new path in your brain, the path of presence and awareness. You are building the quiet, central chamber of your inner monastery, a place where you can find refuge and clarity, one breath at a time. Do not judge your practice. Just do it. Your only goal is to show up and be present for a few minutes each day. If you do that, you are succeeding, and you are laying a foundation of unshakable peace. Now we arrive at the third cornerstone of our foundation, a concept that is woven through all great spiritual traditions and is essential for building a truly peaceful inner world. This is the practice of non-attachment, which we can also call the art of letting go. This is perhaps one of the most misunderstood spiritual concepts. Non-attachment does not mean that you become a cold, emotionless robot. It does not mean you stop caring about people or about your life. In fact, it is quite the opposite. True non-attachment allows you to love more fully, to live more deeply, and to engage with the world with greater wisdom and compassion. So, what is it? Non-attachment is the practice of experiencing your thoughts, feelings, and life circumstances without clinging to them or pushing them away. It is the wisdom of recognizing that everything in life is temporary. Everything is in a constant state of flow. Pleasure and pain, joy and sorrow, success and failure, they all come and they all go. They are like clouds passing in the sky. The root of so much of our suffering comes from trying to do two things: clinging to the pleasant experiences and resisting the unpleasant ones. When we experience something wonderful, like a beautiful vacation or a moment of great joy, our ego immediately tries to grasp it, to hold on to it, to make it permanent. We think, "This is so good. I don't want it to end." But everything ends. When it does, we suffer because we are clinging to something that is already gone. On the other hand, when we experience something unpleasant like criticism, illness, or loss, our ego immediately tries to resist it. We push it away. We think, "This shouldn't be happening. I don't want this." This resistance creates a huge amount of tension, anger, and suffering. It is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes enormous effort, and the ball keeps popping back up. The practice of non-attachment is to learn to let the river of life flow without trying to dam it or divert it. It is to allow your feelings to arise, to experience them fully, and to let them pass without building a whole story around them. Let's use an analogy. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a great river. The things that float by on the river are your thoughts, feelings, and life events. Some of the things that float by are beautiful, like lovely flowers or shining jewels. These represent your moments of joy and success. The ego's tendency is to jump into the river and try to grab these beautiful things and pull them to the shore. But the river is strong, and you end up getting exhausted and swept downstream, all while the beautiful object eventually floats away anyway. Other things that float by are ugly and frightening, like garbage or thorny branches. These represent your moments of pain and difficulty. The ego's tendency is to jump into the river and try to push these ugly things away, to fight them. But in fighting them, you get tangled up in the thorns and covered in the garbage. The practice of non-attachment is to simply remain sitting on the bank. You watch the beautiful flowers float by. You appreciate their beauty for the moment they are in your sight, and then you let them go. You do not need to possess them to enjoy them. You watch the ugly garbage float by. You acknowledge its presence without getting into the water with it. You let it pass. You remain on the solid ground of your awareness, centered and at peace, regardless of what is flowing in the river. How do we practice this in our daily lives? One simple technique is to label your thoughts and feelings. When a strong emotion, like anger, arises, instead of getting lost in it and saying, "I am so angry," you can create a little bit of space by silently saying to yourself, "I am noticing the feeling of anger arising within me." Or even more simply, anger. When a worried thought about the future appears, instead of following it down a rabbit hole of anxiety, you can label it worrying or planning. This simple act of labeling transforms you from being the actor in the drama to being the audience watching the play. It shifts you from the ego to the observer. It reminds you that you are the sky, not the cloud. Another powerful practice is to consciously let go of things at the end of each day. Before you go to sleep, you can spend a few moments reviewing your day. Think about any resentments you are holding on to, any worries you are carrying, any mistakes you are replaying. One by one, imagine placing each of these things into a little boat and pushing it out into a vast ocean. Watch it float away until it disappears over the horizon. You are consciously choosing not to carry today's burdens into tomorrow. This is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about processing them and letting them move through you. Non-attachment is your shield. It allows you to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and resilience. It is the understanding that your inner peace does not depend on your outer circumstances being perfect. Your inner peace depends only on your ability to let go, to allow life to be as it is, and to rest in the unwavering stillness of your own awareness. This is a foundation stone that will keep your monastery standing firm through any storm. Our final cornerstone is one that is both profoundly simple and deeply healing, reconnecting with the natural world. In our modern lives, many of us have become disconnected from nature. We live in climate-controlled boxes, We travel in metal boxes, and we work in office boxes, often staring at glowing rectangular boxes for most of the day. We have forgotten that we are not separate from nature. We are a part of it. Our bodies, our minds, and our spirits are designed to be in harmony with the rhythms of the natural world. Re-establishing this connection is a powerful way to ground ourselves, reduce stress, and find a sense of perspective and peace. There is a growing body of scientific evidence that confirms the wisdom of this ancient practice. In Japan, they have a practice called Shinrin-yoku, which translates to forest bathing. It doesn't mean taking a bath in the forest, but rather immersing yourself in the forest atmosphere. Studies on forest bathing have shown remarkable results. It can lower your heart rate, reduce blood pressure, decrease the production of stress hormones like cortisol, and even boost your immune system by increasing the activity of cells that fight disease. Why is nature so healing? There are many theories. Some scientists believe that our brains are hardwired to find natural settings relaxing. For most of human history, we lived in nature. So being in a forest or a field signals to our deep-seated survival instincts that we are in a place with resources like food and water. Other researchers point to the fractal patterns, the repeating, self-similar patterns found in things like tree branches, ferns, and coastlines, which our brains find easy and pleasant to process. The air in forests is also filled with natural aromatic compounds called phytoncides, which trees release to protect themselves, and which we can breathe in for our own benefit. But beyond the science, there is a spiritual nourishment that we receive from nature. When you stand next to a 100-year-old tree, you feel a sense of stability and endurance. When you watch the endless waves of the ocean, you feel a sense of rhythm and power that puts your own small worries into perspective. When you look up at the vast, star-filled night sky, you are reminded of the immense mystery and beauty of the universe. Nature is the ultimate teacher of non-attachment. The trees do not cling to their leaves in the autumn. The river does not try to hold on to its water. Nature teaches us about cycles, about seasons, about death and rebirth. It teaches us patience and resilience. To build this cornerstone into your foundation, you do not need to move to the countryside. You can practice connecting with nature wherever you are. Even if you live in a dense city, you can find a small park, a single tree on your street, or even a houseplant in your apartment. The practice is to engage all of your senses. Go to a park and find a comfortable place to sit. First, use your sense of sight. Notice the different shades of green in the leaves. Notice the texture of the bark on a tree. Watch the way the wind moves through the branches. Then, engage your sense of hearing. What can you hear? Listen beyond the city sounds for the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, the buzzing of an insect. Next, your sense of smell. What does the air smell like? Can you smell the damp earth, the scent of flowers, or the clean smell after a rain? Then, your sense of touch. Feel the breeze on your skin. Place your hand on the trunk of a tree and feel its solidness. Take off your shoes and feel the grass or the earth beneath your feet. This practice of grounding or earthing can be incredibly centering. By engaging your senses in this way, you pull your attention out of the chaotic world of your thoughts and into the peaceful reality of the present moment. You are anchoring yourself to the earth. Make it a regular practice to spend some time in nature, even if it is just for a few minutes each day. Let it be a form of meditation. Let nature be your church, your sanctuary. This connection will provide you with a deep sense of belonging and a profound, quiet strength. It is the solid earth upon which your monastery of the mind is built. Together, these four cornerstones, the anchor of the breath, the stillness of meditation, the freedom of non-attachment, and the grounding power of nature, create an unshakable foundation for your inner peace. Chapter 3. The Inner Library. We have now laid a strong and stable foundation for our monastery of the mind. Through the practices of conscious breathing, meditation, non-attachment, and connecting with nature, we have created a space of stillness. The ground beneath our feet is solid, the walls are rising, But a monastery is more than just empty rooms and quiet halls. It is a place of learning, a place where deep understanding is cultivated. It is a place where we go not just to find peace, but to find answers. And so, in this chapter, we will turn our attention to furnishing one of the most important rooms in our inner sanctuary, the library. This is the inner library, the place where we cultivate wisdom and knowledge. You might ask, why do we need wisdom if we already have peace? Peace is the state of being calm, but wisdom is the tool that allows us to maintain that peace when the world tries to take it away. Peace is the still water. Wisdom is the skill to navigate the boat when the storm comes. We live in an age where we are drowning in information. We have access to every fact, every statistic, and every opinion in the world at the touch of a button. But information is not the same as wisdom. Information is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Information is data. Wisdom is the deep understanding of how to live a good life. It is knowing what truly matters and what does not. It is the ability to see the bigger picture. Your inner library is not about collecting more facts. It is about collecting truths that can transform the way you live. In this chapter, we will learn how to stock the shelves of this library. We will borrow from the great minds of the past. We will learn how to read the most important book in the library, which is the book of your own life. We will discuss how to take in new ideas in a way that changes you. And finally, we will learn how to listen to the wisest librarian of all, your own intuition. You have within you the capacity for profound wisdom. It is time to unlock the door and step inside. Let us begin by looking at the wisdom that has already been discovered. We do not have to figure out everything on our own. For thousands of years, brilliant men and women have grappled with the same problems you and I face today. They have wondered how to be happy, how to deal with loss, how to handle difficult people, and how to find meaning in life. They have left us their answers. It would be foolish not to listen to them. Imagine you are trying to climb a mountain. You could try to find your own way up, getting lost, hitting dead ends, and risking injury. Or you could follow the map left by those who have successfully reached the summit before you. The ancient philosophies are these maps. We will look at two of these maps that are incredibly practical and relevant to our modern lives. Stoicism from the West and Taoism from the East. Stoicism was a philosophy from ancient Greece and Rome. It was practiced by everyone from slaves to emperors. The core idea of Stoicism is incredibly simple, yet it has the power to completely change your life. It is called the dichotomy of control. The Stoics taught that in life, there are two categories of things we can control and things we cannot control. All of our suffering, they said, comes from confusing these two categories. We suffer because we try desperately to control things that are not up to us. And we fail to take responsibility for the things that are up to us. So, what can we control? According to the Stoics, the list is very short. We can control our own opinions, our own judgments, our own intentions, and our own actions. That is it. Everything else is not fully in our control. Think about what is not in your control. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the traffic. You cannot control the economy. Most importantly, you cannot control other people. You cannot control what they think of you. You cannot control what they say about you. You cannot control whether they like you or whether they are kind to you. You cannot even fully control your own body. You can eat well and exercise, which is your action, but you can still get sick or injured. You cannot control the past. It is gone. You cannot control the future. It has not happened yet. When we tie our happiness to things we cannot control, we are setting ourselves up for misery. If you say, "I will only be happy if I get this promotion," you have given your power away. The promotion depends on your boss, the other candidates, and the company's budget. It is not fully up to you. If you say, "I need my partner to act in a certain way for me to feel loved," you have given your power away to another person. You have made yourself a slave to external circumstances. The Stoic path to freedom is to take back your power. You focus all your energy, all your attention only on what is yours to control. Let's take the example of the promotion again. What is in your control? You can control how hard you work. You can control how well you prepare for the interview. You can control the attitude you bring to work every day. The Stoic says, do these things to the absolute best of your ability. Pour your excellence into your actions. But the outcome, whether you get the job or not, you must let go of. You do your part, and then you release the result. If you get the promotion, wonderful. If you do not, you are still okay, because your self-worth was never tied to the outcome. Your self-worth was tied to your own character and your own effort, which nobody can take away from you. This is not about being passive. It is about being effective. How much time and energy do we waste complaining about things we cannot change? We complain about the rain. We complain about the politician. We complain about our rude neighbor. All of that energy is wasted. The Stoic takes that energy and redirects it inward. Instead of saying, my neighbor shouldn't be so rude, the Stoic says, my neighbor is being rude. That is out of my control. What is in my control is how I respond. I can choose not to let his rudeness ruin my day. I can choose to respond with politeness, or I can choose to simply walk away. In that moment, you have moved from being a victim of your neighbor's behavior to being the master of your own response. This is true power. The next time you feel stressed, angry, or anxious, pause and ask yourself this one question. Is this thing I am upset about completely within my control? If the answer is no, take a deep breath and practice letting it go. Tell yourself, this is not up to me. If the answer is yes, then ask yourself, what action can I take right now? This simple sorting process is the beginning of wisdom. It is the first great book in your inner library. Now let us travel from ancient Rome to ancient China and look at another profound philosophy. Taoism. If Stoicism teaches us what to control, Taoism teaches us how to flow with what we cannot control. The central concept of Taoism is the Tao, which translates to the way. It is the natural flow of the universe, the intelligence behind all life. Taoists observed nature and saw that everything operates in a harmonious flow. The seasons change without effort. The river flows to the sea without struggle. The planets spin in their orbits without pushing. Everything gets done, but nothing is forced. Human beings, however, are often the only part of nature that fights against the flow. We swim upstream. We try to force things to happen on our own timeline. We cling to things that are trying to change. We push, we strive, we struggle, and we exhaust ourselves. Taoism offers us a different way to live, through a concept called Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated as non-action or effortless action. This is often misunderstood as doing nothing or being lazy. That is not what it means at all. Wu Wei means action that is in alignment with the flow of life. It means acting at the right time, in the right way, with the minimum amount of force necessary. Think of a master carpenter working with a piece of wood. An unskilled carpenter might try to force the saw against the grain of the wood. It will be hard work, the wood will splinter, and the result will be ugly. The master carpenter observes the grain of the wood. She works with it. She lets the natural structure of the wood guide her tools. Her work looks effortless, and the result is beautiful. She is practicing Wu Wei. Think of water. Water is the ultimate symbol of Taoism. Water is soft and yielding. If it meets a rock, it does not stand there and argue with the rock. It simply flows around it. It finds the path of least resistance. And yet, over time, that soft water can wear down the hardest stone. Water is humble. It always seeks the lowest place. But it is also incredibly powerful. How do we apply this to our lives? We practice Wu Wei by learning to read the situation we are in. Instead of imposing our rigid will on the world, we pause and observe. We ask, what does this situation require? Sometimes, the wisest action is to wait. In our modern world, we are addicted to doing. We think if we are not constantly busy, we are failing. But sometimes, doing nothing is the most powerful thing you can do. You are waiting for the mud to settle so the water can become clear. You are waiting for the right moment to act. Other times, Wu Wei means moving swiftly and decisively when the door opens. It is about being responsive, not reactive. When you find yourself frustrated, blocked, or exhausted, it is usually a sign that you are not in Wu Wei. You are trying to force a door that is locked. You are trying to swim up a waterfall. The Taoist wisdom says, stop, step back, breathe. Look at the situation again. Where is the flow? Is there another way? Do you need to let go of your specific plan and be open to a different outcome? Trust that life knows what it is doing. When you stop fighting the current and turn to float with it, you are suddenly supported by the power of the entire river. You still have to steer, but the struggle is gone. Combining the Stoic discipline of focusing on what you control with the Taoist wisdom of flowing with what you cannot, gives you an incredibly complete and powerful system for navigating life. You take firm charge of your own oar, but you also respect the power and direction of the river. The next section of your inner library is perhaps the most important one of all. The shelves are filled with many volumes, but there is one set of books that only you can read and only you can write. This is the book of your own life. You are living a story every single day. You are gathering experiences, making mistakes, achieving victories, feeling deep emotions, and interacting with countless people. But how often do you stop to actually read the pages you have written? Socrates, another ancient Greek philosopher, famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Many of us go through our days on autopilot. We react to what happens, we go to sleep, we wake up, and we do it all over again. We make the same mistakes in our relationships. We fall into the same traps at work. We get triggered by the same things. This happens because we are not examining our life. We are not mining our own experience for wisdom. Self-reflection is the process of reading your own book. It is not the same as rumination or overthinking. Rumination is getting stuck on a page, reading the same sad paragraph over and over again, and feeling terrible about it. Reflection is reading the chapter to understand the plot. It is asking questions with curiosity, not judgment. It is looking back at a difficult time in your life, a breakup, a job loss, a period of illness, and asking, what did that teach me? How did I grow from that? What strengths did I discover in myself that I didn't know I had? When you do this, you turn your pain into wisdom. You turn your failures into lessons. There are no wasted experiences in life if you are willing to learn from them. Every single thing that has happened to you is material for your library. You also need to reflect on your successes. When something goes well, don't just celebrate and move on. Ask yourself, why did that work? What did I do differently? What part of my true self did I bring to that situation? By understanding your successes, you can learn to repeat them. You begin to understand your own unique gifts and how to use them in the world. The most powerful tool for reading the book of your life is journaling. A journal is not just a diary where you record what you ate for breakfast. It is a laboratory for your soul. It is a safe space where you can be completely honest with yourself. When you take a thought out of your head and write it down on paper, something magical happens. You can see it. It becomes objective. When it is swirling around in your mind, it feels like a giant, overwhelming cloud. When it is on the paper, it is just words. You can look at it and say, is that really true? Do I really believe that? Journaling helps you to spot patterns. If you write in your journal every day, after a few weeks, you might notice something. You might see that every time you talk to a certain person, you feel drained and angry afterward. You might notice that every time you skip your morning quiet time, your whole day feels chaotic. You might notice that you have been complaining about the same problem for 6 months, but have taken no action to change it. These are incredible insights. Once you see the pattern, you have the power to change it. Awareness is always the first step to transformation. You do not need to be a great writer to journal. No one else ever needs to see it. You can write in bullet points. You can write in messy, ungrammatical sentences. The only rule is to be honest. Start simple. At the end of each day, you could ask yourself 3 questions. What was the best part of today? What was the most challenging part of today? What is one thing I learned today? Just 5 minutes of this practice will rapidly fill the shelves of your inner library with invaluable wisdom about the most important subject in the world, you. As you build your inner library, you will also want to bring in wisdom from outside sources. This brings us to the transformative power of reading and learning. In our modern world, we are constant consumers of content. We scroll through social media. We read news headlines. We watch quick videos. This is like eating mental junk food. It fills the space, but it does not nourish you. It gives you information, but it does not give you wisdom. To build your inner library, you need to choose your reading material with intention. You are what you eat, and your mind is what you read. Seek out books that challenge you, inspire you, and make you see the world differently. Read the great spiritual texts from different traditions. Read philosophy. Read poetry that speaks to the soul. Even great novels can be sources of profound wisdom as they explore the depths of human love, loss, courage, and redemption. But it is not just what you read. It is how you read. Do not read just to get to the end. Do not read just to say you have read it. Read for transformation. When you come across a sentence that strikes you, that makes your heart say yes, stop. Put the book down. Close your eyes. Let that sentence sink into you. Ask yourself, what does this mean for my life? How would my life change if I actually lived by this truth? Underline it. Write it in your journal. Carry it with you throughout the day. You must chew on the wisdom and digest it so that it becomes a part of you. One book read this way is worth 100 books that you skim and forget. You are looking for the ideas that will become the supporting beams of your inner monastery. Finally, we come to the head librarian of your inner world. You have a teacher within you who is wiser than any book you will ever read and any guru you will ever meet. This teacher is your intuition. Intuition is a form of knowing that does not come from the logical, step-by-step thinking mind. It comes from a deeper place. It is often called a gut feeling, a hunch, or that small, still voice inside you that just knows. We all have intuition. Have you ever met someone and immediately felt that you could trust them, even though you knew nothing about them? Have you ever been looking for a new place to live, walked into a house and just felt, this is home? Have you ever had a strong urge to call a friend, only to find out they desperately needed to talk to someone at that exact moment? That is your intuition. It is your soul's GPS. It is connected to a universal intelligence that sees far more than your limited logical mind can see. Your logical mind can only work with the information it has. Your intuition has access to the entire library of the universe. The problem is that for most of us, the voice of our intuition is drowned out. It is drowned out by the noise of the world, by the opinions of others, and by the constant loud chatter of our own ego. The ego screams in fear and doubt. The intuition whispers in calm certainty. We have also been trained by our society to ignore it. We are taught to trust only what we can prove, measure, and explain with logic. We are told that our feelings don't matter, only facts matter. So we learn to distrust our own inner knowing. We analyze things to death. We make pro and con lists. We ask 10 different people for advice, all while ignoring the quiet voice inside that already knows the answer. How do we learn to hear this librarian again? The first step goes back to our foundation. We must cultivate silence. You cannot hear a whisper in a hurricane. You must create quiet spaces in your day where you can listen. This is why meditation and time in nature are so important. When the noise of the mind settles down, the voice of the intuition can be heard. Start by asking it questions. When you have a decision to make, instead of immediately rushing to analyze it, take a moment. Get quiet. Drop your awareness from your head down into your heart or your gut. Ask the question, and then just listen. Do not try to force an answer. Just be open. The answer might not come as words. It might come as a feeling of expansion and lightness, which usually means yes. Or it might come as a feeling of contraction, heaviness, or unease, which usually means no. It might not come right away. It might come to you later, while you are taking a shower or washing the dishes. Trust that the answer will come. You must also practice trusting the small nudges. Start with low-stakes decisions. If you have a sudden urge to take a different route to work, follow it and see what happens. If you feel drawn to call someone, call them. If you feel a strong no about going to an event, even if you should go, honor that no. The more you act on your intuition, the stronger it will become. It is like a muscle. If you ignore it, it atrophies. If you use it and trust it, it grows. Keep a record in your journal of the times you followed your intuition, and it turned out to be right. This will help build your confidence in this inner guide. Your inner library is now open. Its shelves are being stocked with the timeless wisdom of the ages, the profound lessons from your own life experience, and the transformative ideas you are gathering. And at the center of it all is your intuition, the wise librarian who knows exactly which book you need at any given moment. With this wisdom, you are no longer just surviving, you are thriving. You are navigating your life with clarity, purpose, and a deep sense of knowing. You have the knowledge. Now, we must add the heart. Chapter 4. The Garden of Compassion. We have built the strong walls of our monastery with stillness and presence. We have filled its library with profound wisdom and self-knowledge. Our inner structure is becoming solid and impressive. But if we were to stop here, our monastery would be incomplete. It would be a cold, austere place. A place of silence and knowledge, yes, but perhaps lacking in warmth. A true sanctuary is not just a place of strength. It is a place of love. It is a place of refuge, comfort, and deep connection. Wisdom without love can be harsh and judgmental. Stillness without compassion can be empty and isolating. To make our inner home truly complete, we must plant a garden. This is the Garden of Compassion. In this chapter, we will step out of the library and into the sunlight. We will learn how to cultivate the warmth of the heart. Just like a physical garden, the Garden of Compassion does not grow on its own. If left unattended, it will be overrun by the weeds of judgment, resentment, and indifference. It must be intentionally planted, watered, and tended to with care and patience. We will start by planting the most essential seed of all, compassion for ourselves. From there, we will learn how to extend the branches of our care to others through empathy. We will undertake the necessary, though sometimes difficult, work of pulling the weeds of resentment through the power of forgiveness. And finally, we will see how our garden blooms, spreading its beauty into the world through simple acts of kindness. This work of opening the heart is what brings color, life, and true joy to your inner world. It is what transforms your inner peace from a personal possession into a gift for the world. We must begin at the beginning. The very first seed you must plant in your garden is self-compassion. This is non-negotiable. You cannot give to others what you do not possess yourself. You cannot pour water from an empty cup. If your own inner world is filled with harsh judgment and criticism, how can you genuinely offer kindness to others? Yet, for so many of us, this is the hardest step. We are often our own worst enemies. We have an inner critic, a voice in our head that is constantly pointing out our flaws, magnifying our mistakes, and telling us we are not good enough, smart enough, or attractive enough. Think about the things you say to yourself when you fail or make a mistake. I am so stupid. I always mess things up. What is wrong with me? Now, ask yourself this. Would you ever, in a million years, say those things to a dear friend who was suffering? Of course not. If your friend came to you after making a mistake, you would put your arm around them. You would say, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. You are still a good person. I am here for you." Why do we find it so easy to offer this kindness to others, but deny it to ourselves? We must debunk a major myth about self-compassion. Many people are afraid that if they are kind to themselves, they will become lazy, self-indulgent, or weak. They believe that they need that harsh inner whip to keep themselves motivated and on track. This could not be further from the truth. Research has shown that the opposite is true. Self-criticism triggers our threat defense system. It puts us into a state of stress and fear. When we are afraid of being attacked, even if the attack is coming from inside our own head, we become afraid of failure. We stop taking risks. We lose confidence. And when we do fail, which is inevitable in life, the self-criticism crushes us, making it much harder to get back up. Self-compassion, on the other hand, creates a state of emotional safety. It is not about self-pity, saying, "Poor me." It is not about self-indulgence, saying, "I don't need to try." And it is certainly not about making excuses or letting yourself off the hook for bad behavior. Self-compassion simply means treating yourself with the same support and encouragement you would offer a good friend. When a supportive friend tells you, "It's okay you failed, I still believe in you," does that make you want to give up? No, it gives you the strength and the courage to try again. Self-compassion is the ultimate source of resilience. When you know that you will be there for yourself, no matter what happens, you become fearless. You are safe in your own care. So how do we practice this? There are three main components to self-compassion. The first is mindfulness. We must be aware that we are suffering. This sounds obvious, but often we are so busy beating ourselves up or trying to ignore the pain that we don't even acknowledge it. We have to pause and say, "Ouch, this hurts right now. I am feeling really stressed. I am feeling sad about this failure." We acknowledge the pain without exaggerating it and making it into a huge drama, but also without ignoring it. The second component is common humanity. This is the understanding that suffering, failure, and imperfection are part of the shared human experience. You are not alone in your struggle. When we fail, the ego likes to tell us, "You are the only one who is this messed up. Everyone else has it figured out." This is a lie. Every single person on this planet makes mistakes. Every single person feels insecure sometimes. Every single person knows loss and pain. Your imperfection does not separate you from others. It connects you to them. Remind yourself, "I am not alone in this. Other people have felt this way too. This is just part of being human." This simple thought breaks the isolation of shame. The third component is self-kindness. This is where we take active steps to soothe and comfort ourselves. Instead of the cold voice of the critic, we consciously bring in the warm voice of the friend. We ask ourselves, "What do I need right now? How can I care for myself in this moment?" Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to talk to a friend. Maybe you just need to place a hand over your heart. Feel the warmth of your own touch and say to yourself, "May I be kind to myself. May I be strong. May I accept myself as I am." Physical touch is incredibly powerful. Your body responds to the warmth of your own hand on your heart or on your cheek. It releases oxytocin, the hormone of love and bonding, which calms your nervous system. The next time your inner critic starts its attack, catch it. Stop. Say, "I hear you, but I am not going to listen to you right now." Then, take a self-compassion break. Acknowledge the pain. This is a moment of suffering. Remember, you are not alone. Suffering is a part of life. Offer yourself kindness. May I be kind to myself in this moment. You are planting the seed. Water it every day, and watch how your inner world begins to change. You deserve your own love. Once the seed of self-compassion has taken root, your heart naturally begins to open. You have more to give. The branches of your garden begin to extend outward, reaching towards others. This reaching out is called empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It is different from sympathy. Sympathy is looking at someone in a hole and saying, "Oh, that looks bad down there. I feel sorry for you," while remaining safely at the top. Empathy is climbing down into the hole with them and saying, "I know what it's like down here. You are not alone." It is the sacred act of saying, "I see you. I feel with you." Empathy is the glue that holds all human connection together. It is what dissolves the walls of the ego, the walls that say, me versus you. Through empathy, we realize that at our core, we all want the same things. We want to be happy, we want to be loved, and we want to be free from suffering. The person who cut you off in traffic wants to be happy. They are just rushing and stressed. The person who was rude to you at the store wants to be happy. They are probably having a terrible day. Empathy allows us to look past the behavior and see the human being underneath. The greatest tool for cultivating empathy is the art of deep listening. In our fast-paced, noisy world, being truly listened to is a rare and precious gift. Most of the time, when we are in a conversation, we are not really listening. We are waiting for our turn to speak. We are formulating our response while the other person is still talking. We are half listening while checking our phone. We are judging what they are saying, or we are immediately jumping in to offer advice and try to fix their problem. To listen with empathy requires us to set all of that aside. When someone is talking to you, give them your full, undivided attention. Put down your phone, turn your whole body towards them. Listen not just with your ears, but with your eyes and your heart. Notice their body language. Hear the emotion behind their words. Your goal is not to reply. Your goal is to understand. Imagine you are an empty bowl, just there to receive what they are pouring out. Do not interrupt. Resist the urge to jump in with your own story. Oh yeah, that happened to me too, and let me tell you about it. That shifts the focus back to you. Keep the spotlight on them. And most importantly, resist the urge to fix it. When someone shares their pain, they are usually not asking for advice. They are asking to be heard. They are asking for validation, simply saying, "That sounds incredibly hard," or "I can see why you would feel that way," or "Thank you for sharing that with me," is often far more powerful than any solution you could offer. You are holding space for them. You are offering them the sanctuary of your presence. This is love in action. By becoming a safe harbor for others, you strengthen the compassion in your own heart. As we tend to our garden, we will inevitably find weeds. These are the weeds of anger, resentment, and bitterness. They grow from the hurts and injustices we have experienced in the past. If we do not pull them out, they will choke the life out of our garden. They will block the sunlight of joy and drain the water of our energy. The tool we use to pull these weeds is forgiveness. Forgiveness is perhaps one of the most difficult and most misunderstood practices in all of spiritual life. Let us be crystal clear about what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not saying that what the other person did was okay. It does not excuse their behavior. It does not mean you are letting them win. Forgiveness is not necessarily reconciliation. You can forgive someone and still decide that you never want to see them or speak to them again. You do not have to become best friends with the person who hurt you. Setting healthy boundaries is a part of self-compassion, and forgiveness is not forgetting. You learned a lesson, and you keep the wisdom of that lesson. So, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It has almost nothing to do with the other person. There is an old saying, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You are the one swallowing the poison every day. You are the one carrying the heavy burden of resentment. The other person might be outliving their life, completely unaware of or indifferent to your pain, while you are still chained to the past, reliving the hurt over and over again. Forgiveness is the decision to set that burden down. It is the decision to take your power back. As long as you hold on to resentment, that person still has power over you. They are still renting space in your head. They are still controlling your emotions from the past. When you forgive, you are saying, "I am done with this. I am cutting the chain. What you did was wrong, but I am no longer going to let it hurt me today. I am choosing to be free." You are not doing it for them. You are doing it for you. You deserve to be free. Your heart deserves to be unburdened. The process of forgiveness takes time. It cannot be rushed or forced. First, you must honor your anger and your pain. You cannot forgive what you have not allowed yourself to feel. It is okay to be angry. Acknowledge that you were hurt. Validate your own experience. Then, make the conscious decision that you want to be free. Set the intention to forgive, even if you don't know how yet. The hardest part is trying to see the humanity of the person who hurt you. This does not mean you like them. It means you recognize that they too are a flawed human being. Very often, people who hurt others are acting out of their own deep pain, ignorance, or fear. Hurt people hurt people. This does not excuse their actions, but it can help you to depersonalize it. Their action was about them and their brokenness, not about your worth. Finally, you release the debt. You decide that they no longer owe you anything. You stop waiting for the apology that may never come. You stop waiting for them to change. You declare your own independence from the situation. You pull the weed out by its root and cast it aside, making room for new, healthy growth in your garden. And remember, sometimes the person you most need to forgive is yourself. Apply this same gentleness and understanding to your own past mistakes. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Learn from it and let yourself be free. When we have planted the seeds of self-compassion, extended the branches of empathy, and pulled the weeds of resentment, our garden begins to bloom. The flowers of this garden are our acts of kindness. This is where the love we have cultivated inside moves out into the world. We often think that to make a difference, we need to do something huge and heroic. We need to start a foundation, donate $1 million, or save the world. But true change happens in the small, everyday moments. Life is made up of these moments. Never underestimate the power of a small act of kindness. A genuine smile to a stranger on the street, holding the door open for someone whose hands are full. A sincere compliment to a co-worker. A thank you note to someone who helped you. Letting someone merge in front of you in traffic. Sending a quick text to a friend just to say, "I'm thinking of you." These things seem tiny, but they are immensely powerful. Kindness creates a ripple effect. Imagine throwing a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread out, touching everything in the pond. When you are kind to the cashier at the grocery store, you might change their whole mood. They might go home and be more patient with their children. Their children might go to school the next day and be kinder to their classmates. Your one small act can travel around the world in ways you will never know. You are putting positive energy into the system of humanity. And here is the beautiful secret. Kindness is just as good for the giver as it is for the receiver. Scientists call this the helper's high. When you perform an act of kindness, your brain releases a cocktail of feel-good chemicals, including endorphins, nature's painkiller, and oxytocin, the love hormone. Being kind literally makes you happier. It reduces your stress. It is good for your heart. It connects you to others and gives you a sense of purpose. It is a beautiful upward spiral. The more kind you are, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more kind you want to be. To keep your garden thriving, you can practice a simple meditation called loving kindness, or metta. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Start by sending warm wishes to yourself. Silently repeat, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease." Really feel the wish. Then, think of someone you love and send those same wishes to them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. Then, if you feel ready, try sending those wishes to a neutral person, like the mail carrier. And finally, try sending them to someone you are having difficulty with. You are not condoning their actions. You are simply wishing for the suffering that causes them to act that way to be healed. May you be happy. May you find peace. Finally, send it out to the whole world. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. This practice waters the entire garden of your heart, ensuring that your inner monastery is always a place of warmth, love, and blooming compassion. You are a force of light in the world. Shine brightly. Chapter 5. Living from your monastery. We have come a long way on this journey together. We began with the profound realization that you are the architect of your inner world. We then laid the 4 great foundation stones: the anchor of the breath, the stillness of meditation, the freedom of non-attachment, and the grounding power of nature. With this foundation secure, we built a great library within, filling its shelves with the timeless wisdom of the ages and the invaluable lessons from your own life, all guided by the quiet voice of your intuition. Then, we stepped out into the sunlight and cultivated a beautiful, vibrant garden of compassion, planting the seeds of kindness for ourselves and for all others. Our inner monastery is now a place of immense strength, profound wisdom, and deep love. It is a true sanctuary. But what is the purpose of this sanctuary? Is it a place to hide from the world? Is it an escape, a fortress where we can lock the gates and ignore the chaos outside? Absolutely not. The purpose of building a monastery of the mind is not to retreat from life, but to engage with it more fully, more consciously, and more beautifully than ever before. A lamp is not lit to be hidden under a bowl. It is lit to be placed on a stand, where it gives light to everyone in the house. Your inner peace is this lamp. The goal of this chapter is to learn how to open the doors of your monastery and carry that light out into the world. This is where our inner work becomes our outer service. We will learn how to integrate the peace of our practice into the busiest and most challenging moments of our day through what we will call micro-meditations. We will explore how to build an unshakable resilience, the strong yet flexible walls of our monastery that allows us to face life's storms with grace. We will then turn our gaze upward to find our North Star, the deep sense of purpose and meaning that guides all of our actions. Finally, we will embrace the ultimate goal of our journey, to live in a monastery without walls, where every moment of our life, every interaction, becomes an expression of the peace and wisdom we have cultivated within. This is the great work. This is how we transform not only our own lives, but the world around us. Let us begin with the most practical challenge we all face. It is one thing to feel peaceful while sitting on a meditation cushion in a quiet room for 20 minutes in the morning. It is quite another to maintain that peace when you are stuck in a traffic jam, when your children are screaming, when your boss sends a demanding email, or when you are in a difficult conversation. The world does not stop just because you have meditated. The key to bridging this gap between our practice and our life is to realize that our practice does not have to be confined to a cushion. We can weave moments of mindfulness and presence into the very fabric of our day. These are micro-meditations. They are small, often less than a minute long, opportunities to come back to ourselves, to touch our foundation of stillness, right in the middle of the action. The cumulative effect of these tiny moments of presence is enormous. They are like small sips of water throughout a long, hot day. Each one is small, but together they keep you hydrated and refreshed. Let's explore some of these micro-meditations you can begin to use immediately. The first is what we will call the 3-breath reset. This is your emergency first aid kit for stress. It can be done anywhere, at any time, and no one will even know you are doing it. The moment you feel your stress level rising, the moment you feel yourself about to react in anger or frustration, just pause. Stop everything and take 3 slow, conscious, deep breaths. If you can, use the belly breathing technique we learned in Chapter 2. The first breath, you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you consciously release the tension in your body. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. The second breath, you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you let go of the frantic thoughts just for a moment. Imagine them flying away like a flock of birds. The third breath, you breathe in, and you ask yourself a simple question. What is most important right now? Then you breathe out, and you come back to the present moment with a little more clarity and a little more space. This whole process takes maybe 30 seconds, but in that 30 seconds, you have interrupted the automatic stress reaction. You have moved from your reactive ego to your calm observer. You have created a sacred pause, and in that pause, you can choose a wiser response. Use this before you answer a difficult phone call. Use it when you feel overwhelmed by your to-do list. Use it when your child spills juice all over the floor. 3 breaths can change everything. Another powerful micro-meditation is the doorway pause. We spend our days moving from one space to another, from one activity to another. We rush from the bedroom to the kitchen, from the house to the car, from the car into the office. Each doorway you pass through is an opportunity for a moment of presence. Make a rule for yourself. Every time you walk through a doorway, you will use it as a reminder to come back to the present moment. As your hand touches the doorknob, feel the sensation of the cool metal. As you step through the frame, feel your feet on the floor. Take one single conscious breath, and as you do, you can set a small intention for the room you are about to enter. As you enter your office, your intention might be focus. As you enter your home at the end of the day, your intention might be peace. You are consciously transitioning from one part of your life to another, rather than just rushing through on autopilot. This simple practice breaks your day into manageable, mindful chapters. Now, let's transform one of the most common daily activities into a practice. The mindful sip. How many cups of coffee, tea, or water do you drink in a day? For most of us, we drink them while we are doing 5 other things: working, reading, talking, driving. For just the first sip of your first drink in the morning, do it differently. Before you take that first sip, just hold the cup. Feel its warmth or its coolness in your hands. Look at the color of the liquid. Notice the steam rising. Bring it to your nose and smell the aroma. Then, take that first sip. Don't just gulp it down. Let the liquid rest in your mouth for a moment. Notice the taste, the temperature, the texture. Notice the feeling as you swallow it. That's it. For the rest of the drink, you can go back to your normal routine. But for that one single sip, you were completely present. You turned a mundane act into a moment of sensory pleasure and deep gratitude. You started your day with a moment of stillness. We can apply this same principle to eating. Mindful eating can transform your relationship with food and your body. At least once a day, perhaps for just the first 3 bites of your lunch, practice this. Before you eat, look at your food. Really look at it. See the colors, the shapes, the textures. Think for a moment about all the people and all the natural forces that brought this food to your plate. The sun, the rain, the earth, the farmer, the truck driver, the person who prepared it. Offer a silent moment of gratitude. Then, take the first bite. Put your fork down and just chew. Chew slowly. Notice the explosion of flavors. Notice the texture. Try to identify all the different ingredients. When you do this, you not only enjoy your food more, you digest it better, and you are far more likely to notice when your body is actually full. It is a simple way to bring the sacred back to the act of nourishing your body. Even our relationship with technology can be a place for practice. We will call this the digital sunset. Our phones and computers are incredible tools, but they are also a constant source of distraction and stimulation. Many of us go to sleep with the blue light of a screen in our eyes and wake up to immediately check our notifications. This keeps our nervous system in a constant state of low-grade alert. To counteract this, create a digital sunset for yourself. Decide on a time each evening, maybe an hour before you plan to go to sleep, when you will turn off all your screens. This is your monastery's closing bell. When you put your phone down for the night, do it consciously. Say a silent thank you for its service, and then release it. Use that last hour to do something that nourishes your soul. Read a real book, listen to calming music, talk with your partner, stretch, write in your journal. You are giving your mind and your nervous system a chance to wind down, to prepare for a deep and restorative sleep. These micro-meditations are not about adding more things to your to-do list. They are about changing how you do the things you are already doing. They are the stitches that mend the gap between your inner peace and your outer life. They are how you live from your monastery, moment by moment, breath by breath. As you practice bringing these moments of mindfulness into your day, you are not just creating temporary relief from stress. You are actively building one of the most important qualities for a well-lived life: resilience. Resilience is the strong, yet flexible wall of your inner monastery. It is not about building a rigid, brittle wall that can be shattered by a single powerful blow. That is resistance, not resilience. Resilience is more like the strength of a bamboo tree. In a fierce wind, the bamboo bends. It may bend all the way to the ground, but when the wind stops, it gracefully returns to its upright position, unharmed. It is strong because it is flexible. Resilience is our spiritual and psychological ability to bend without breaking, to face the inevitable storms of life, and to not only survive them, but to learn and grow from them. The foundation we have built is the very source of this resilience. When a crisis hits, a health scare, a financial loss, a painful betrayal, your first instinct, powered by the ego, will be to panic. Your mind will race with fear and catastrophic thoughts. But now you have tools. You have the anchor of your breath. In the midst of the chaos, you can return to your breath to calm your nervous system, to get out of the fight or flight mode and into a place where you can think more clearly. This is your first line of defense. You also have the quiet room of your meditation practice. You have practiced sitting with discomfort. You have trained your mind to watch difficult thoughts and feelings arise and pass without being completely swept away by them. This training is invaluable in a real crisis. You have the capacity to be the calm center of the storm. The wisdom from your inner library provides the mental framework for resilience. When you are faced with a terrible situation, you can pull the book of Stoicism from your shelf. You can ask yourself the life-changing question: what in this situation is in my control, and what is not? You will realize that the event itself is not in your control. It has happened, but your response is 100% in your control. This shifts you immediately from a state of helpless victimhood to a state of empowerment. You focus your energy not on raging against reality, but on taking the wisest possible next step. You can also draw upon the wisdom of Taoism. You can recognize when you are trying to force a solution against the natural flow of events. You can practice Wu Wei, the art of effortless action, by pausing and asking, where is the opening? What does this situation require of me right now? Perhaps it requires patience. Perhaps it requires surrender. Perhaps it requires bold action. Your wisdom helps you to discern the right path. The compassion from your garden is your emotional shock absorber. When you fail or make a mistake during a difficult time, which is inevitable, your self-compassion practice will save you from the second arrow. The ancient Buddhist parable of the second arrow says that when you are struck by an arrow, a painful life event, it is painful. But if you then get angry at yourself for getting shot and start judging yourself, it is like you are shooting a second arrow into yourself. That second arrow is optional. It is self-inflicted. Your self-compassion practice is the shield that stops that second arrow. You can say to yourself, this is so hard. I am doing the best I can. It is okay to be struggling. This kindness gives you the emotional strength to endure. To actively build your resilience, you can practice the art of reframing. This is the conscious choice to change the story you are telling yourself about a difficult event. Our suffering is rarely caused by the event itself, but by the meaning we attach to it. When you face an obstacle, your ego will tell you a story of victimhood. This is terrible. Why does this always happen to me? My life is ruined. A reframe is a different story, a more empowering one. You can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How could this challenge be a hidden opportunity? What strength is this situation asking me to develop? Think of an oyster. When a grain of sand gets inside its shell, it is an irritant, a source of pain. The oyster could see it as a terrible misfortune. Instead, it responds by covering the grain of sand with beautiful layers of nacre, and over time, it creates a precious pearl. Your challenges are the grains of sand. Your resilience is your ability to turn them into pearls of wisdom and strength. This is not about pretending that painful things are not painful. It is about believing in your ability to create something valuable from your suffering. Another powerful practice for resilience is embracing impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing lasts forever. Not the good times, and not the bad times. When you are in the middle of a terrible storm, it feels like it will last forever. Your mind projects the current pain into an endless future. But this is a trick of the mind. Remember the sky and the clouds. This storm is a dark cloud. It may be huge and may cover the entire sky for a while. But you know, with absolute certainty, that the sky is still there behind it, and that eventually this cloud will pass, as all clouds do. Holding this deep understanding of impermanence in your heart allows you to endure. You can say to yourself, "This too shall pass." This is not a hopeful wish. It is a statement of universal law. This knowledge gives you the patience to weather the storm without losing hope. Now, with our resilience strong, we can turn to one of the most profound aspects of our journey. We have built a beautiful, strong, and compassionate inner home. But a home needs a purpose. A ship, no matter how well built, is just a piece of wood and metal without a destination. It needs a North Star to guide it across the vast ocean. In our lives, this North Star is our sense of purpose and meaning. This is what gives direction to our days, what gets us out of bed in the morning, and what makes our lives feel significant. A life without meaning, even a peaceful life, can feel empty. Meaning is what fills our peace with joy. Finding your purpose is not about finding one single, grand, world-changing mission. For a few people it might be, but for most of us, purpose is found in a quieter, more intimate way. It is about understanding your unique gifts and figuring out how you can use them to contribute to the world, to be of service in your own way. It is about aligning your daily actions with your deepest values. When what you do is in alignment with who you are, you experience a profound sense of rightness and fulfillment. To begin this discovery, you must go back to your inner library and open the book of your own life. You are going to do a deep self-inquiry. Get out your journal, and over a period of days or weeks, sit with these questions. Do not rush them. Let the answers emerge from the quiet space within you. First, what did you love to do as a child, before the world told you what you should be and what was practical? What activities made you lose all track of time? In those childhood passions often lie the clues to your authentic self. Second, what makes you feel most alive and energized right now as an adult? What activities, when you are doing them, make you feel like you are in the zone, completely absorbed and engaged? Third, and this is a crucial question, what problem in the world breaks your heart? What injustice or form of suffering makes you feel a surge of compassion and a desire to help? Your purpose is often hidden inside your greatest compassion. Your life's work may be to heal the thing that once wounded you, or to help others who are struggling with a challenge you have overcome. Fourth, what are your unique gifts and strengths? What do people consistently compliment you on? What comes relatively easily to you that seems difficult for others? Do not be modest here. Make an honest inventory of your talents, whether they are in listening, organizing, creating, teaching, or anything else. Now, look at the answers to these questions. Your purpose lies at the intersection of these things. It is where what you love to do, what you are good at, and what the world needs all come together. Your purpose does not have to be your job. You can find deep meaning in your role as a parent, a friend, a caregiver, or a volunteer. Your purpose is about the quality of energy you bring to your life. You can be a janitor and see your purpose as creating a clean and beautiful space for people to work in. You can be a receptionist and see your purpose as being the first welcoming and kind face that people see, setting a positive tone for their day. It is not about what you do, but how and why you do it. Once you have a clearer sense of your purpose, write it down. Create a personal mission statement. It could be something like, "My purpose is to use my creativity to bring more beauty into the world," or "My purpose is to be a source of calm and stability for my family," or "My purpose is to use my listening skills to make others feel seen and heard." Read this statement every single day. Let it be your guide. When you have to make a decision, you can ask, "Is this choice in alignment with my purpose?" Your North Star will keep you from getting lost. We have arrived at the final stage of our journey in this chapter. We have learned to bring our peace into the small moments of our day. We have built our resilience to face the storms. We have found our North Star to guide us. Now all that is left is to live it, fully and completely. This is the ideal of the monastery, without walls. It is the realization that your sanctuary is not a place you go to. It is the person you have become. You carry your peace, your wisdom, and your compassion with you everywhere. They radiate from you. This radiance is felt by others through the power of your presence. Have you ever been around someone who is just deeply calm? You feel yourself relax in their presence. Their non-anxious presence soothes your own nervous system. This is not a mystical phenomenon. It is a biological one. Our nervous systems are constantly communicating with each other beneath the level of conscious awareness. When you have done the work to regulate your own inner state, you become a co-regulator for the people around you. Your calm presence can de-escalate a tense meeting. Your peaceful energy can comfort a grieving friend. You do not have to say or do anything special. Your being is your gift. This inner state will naturally transform your communication. You will find yourself speaking less and listening more. When you do speak, your words will come from a place of centeredness, not reactivity. You will practice conscious communication. This means pausing before you speak, asking yourself, "Is what I'm about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary?" You will learn to express your needs and your boundaries clearly and compassionately, without blame or accusation. You will listen to others not to win an argument, but to genuinely understand their perspective, even if you do not agree with it. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to practice empathy and connection. Finally, your entire life becomes an act of sacred service. You realize that every task, no matter how mundane, is an opportunity to contribute to the whole. When you are washing the dishes, you are not just washing dishes. You are creating order and cleanliness for your family. It is an act of love. When you are doing your job, you are not just earning a paycheck. You are using your unique skills to contribute a piece to the great puzzle of society. It is an act of service. This mindset transforms drudgery into devotion. It infuses every moment with a sense of purpose. You are no longer just living for yourself. You are living as a part of an interconnected web of life, and your actions, no matter how small, have an effect on the whole. The walls of your monastery dissolve, and you realize that the entire world is your sacred space. You are a walking, talking sanctuary of peace. This was the goal all along. Not to hide from the world, but to become a healing presence within it. Conclusion: your inner home is always with you. We have reached the end of this audiobook, but we have only reached the beginning of your real journey. Let us pause for a moment and look back at the path we have traveled. We began with a simple yet revolutionary idea: that you are the architect of your own mind. You are not a passive victim of your thoughts and feelings, but a conscious creator of your inner reality. You hold the power to build a sanctuary within yourself. We then gathered our tools and our materials. We laid the 4 great cornerstones that form the unshakable foundation of this sanctuary. We learned to use the simple, profound anchor of our breath to bring us back to the present moment, to calm the storms of our nervous system. We demystified the ancient practice of meditation, realizing it is not about emptying the mind, but about changing our relationship with it, learning to be the calm sky that holds all the passing clouds of thought. We embrace the liberating wisdom of non-attachment, the art of letting go, of allowing the river of life to flow without resistance, freeing ourselves from the suffering of clinging and aversion, and we reconnected with the deep, grounding wisdom of the natural world, remembering that we are a part of the earth and can draw strength from its timeless rhythms. With this solid ground beneath us, we began to build upward. We constructed a great and beautiful library inside our minds. We did not fill it with useless clutter and fleeting information, but with deep and transformative wisdom. We drew on the practical, life-altering maps left for us by the great Stoic and Taoist masters, learning what to control and how to flow with what we cannot. We then turned to the most important book on any shelf, the book of our own life. Through the courageous act of self-reflection and journaling, we began to read our own story, mining our past for its hidden lessons, turning our pain into power and our mistakes into medicine. We learned to read and learn in a way that truly nourishes the soul, and most importantly, we learned to listen to the quiet whispers of our own intuition, the master librarian who always knows the way. But a monastery of stone and books can be a cold place. So we stepped out into the courtyard and began to plant a garden, the vibrant, life-giving garden of compassion. We planted the most vital seed of all, self-compassion, learning to treat ourselves with the same kindness and encouragement we would offer a dear friend. We discovered that this self-love was not selfish, but was the very source of our ability to love others. From this seed, the branches of empathy grew, reaching out to connect with the hearts of those around us through the sacred practice of deep listening. We undertook the difficult but necessary work of pulling the bitter weeds of resentment through the liberating power of forgiveness, not for others, but as a profound gift of freedom for ourselves. And we watched our garden bloom, spreading its beauty and fragrance into the world through small, everyday acts of kindness, creating ripples of positivity that touched countless lives. Finally, with our monastery built, we learned that its purpose was not to be a fortress, but a lighthouse. We learned to carry our inner peace out into the world. We practiced micro-meditations, weaving moments of presence into the fabric of our busiest days. We understood that the combination of our foundation, our wisdom, and our compassion is what builds true resilience, the bamboo-like flexibility to bend in the storms of life without breaking. We looked to the heavens and found our North Star, our personal sense of purpose and meaning that gives direction and joy to our journey. And we embraced the ultimate goal, to live in a monastery without walls, where our very being becomes a source of peace, our every action a form of service, and our entire life a sacred expression of the love and wisdom we have cultivated within. As we stand here now, at the end of these chapters, it is crucial to understand that the monastery you have built is not a distant place you must strive to reach. You do not need to sit on a cushion to be there. You do not need to be in nature to be there. The monastery is not a place you go to. It is what you have become. It is a home you have built inside your own consciousness, and the key is always in your pocket. You can return to it at any moment with a single conscious breath. The stillness you have cultivated, the wisdom you have gathered, and the compassion you have nurtured are now a part of the very fabric of your being. This does not mean that life will suddenly become perfect. The storms will still come. The winds of change will still blow. You will still face challenges, you will still feel pain, and you will still make mistakes. The difference is that now you have a refuge. You have a deep well of strength to draw upon. You have a compassionate friend who lives inside your own skin. When the waves of life become turbulent, you now know how to drop your anchor. When you get lost in the darkness of confusion, you now have a library of wisdom to light your way. When your heart is broken by loss, you now have a garden of compassion to heal your wounds. You are not the same person who started this journey. You have done the work. You have built your home. The path forward is a path of practice. The monastery is a living thing. It needs to be maintained. Some days, your practice will feel easy and joyful. The sun will be shining in your garden. The library will be quiet and peaceful. Other days, it will feel like a struggle. The winds of stress will howl. Weeds of resentment may try to grow back. You may forget to breathe. You may get completely swept away by the river of your thoughts for hours, or even for days. This is not a failure. This is part of the practice. The path is not a straight line to enlightenment. It is a spiral. We circle back to the same lessons again and again, each time learning them on a deeper level. When you notice that you have strayed from your center, when you realize you have been living on autopilot, ruled by the ego, do not despair. And most importantly, do not judge yourself. That moment of noticing is a moment of pure grace. It is a victory. It is your observer self waking up. In that moment, the only thing to do is to be incredibly gentle with yourself. Smile, take a deep breath, and simply begin again. Return to the feeling of your feet on the earth. Return to the sensation of your breath in your body. Return to the intention you have set for your life. Every single moment is a new beginning. The art of beginning again is the most important skill you will ever learn. Be patient with yourself. You are unlearning a lifetime of mental habits. It takes time, but every breath, every mindful sip, every kind thought is a step in the right direction. You are rewiring your brain, and you are reawakening your soul. There is a potential pitfall on this path that we must name. As you feel the benefits of this practice, as you begin to feel more peaceful and wise, the ego can be very sneaky. It can try to turn your spiritual practice into another possession, another way to feel special or superior to others. This is the spiritual ego. You might find yourself judging others who are stressed or reactive, thinking they should really meditate. If you notice this happening, recognize it for what it is. Just another trick of the ego trying to create separation. True spiritual practice does not lead to arrogance. It leads to profound humility. It leads to the deep realization that we are all in this together, all doing our best, all struggling with our own burdens. The more you connect with your true self, the more you will see that same true self shining in the eyes of every person you meet. Your practice should make you more connected, more compassionate, and more forgiving, not less. Carry this peace with you, but carry it lightly. Let it be a quiet strength that informs your actions, not a heavy doctrine that you impose on others. Your life itself will be your greatest teaching. The way you handle stress, the way you listen to others, the way you care for yourself. This is how you will share the gifts of your monastery. Your calm presence will be a greater gift than any advice you could ever give. Your compassionate heart will heal more than any argument you could ever win. Live your truth, quietly and authentically, and you will be a beacon of light in the world. The journey inward is the greatest adventure you will ever take. You have drawn the map. You have taken the first steps. The path is now clear. Trust the process. Trust your inner wisdom. And most of all, trust yourself. The peace you are seeking is already within you. You are the monastery. You are the sanctuary. You are home. Thank you for listening to A Monastery of the Mind. If this journey has resonated with you and you would like to explore more audiobooks for your heart, mind, and spirit, please consider subscribing to the Williams Audiobooks YouTube channel. We are a community dedicated to this path of inner growth, and we would be honored to continue the journey with you. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you live with a heart full of peace.